The MMA on the Rocks podcast is intended for adult audiences. If you are not an adult, please do not let your parents know you're listening to this, and don't repeat anything you hear on this show in front of them. Also, a reminder that even if you fight recklessly, please drink responsibly. Now that we have all that covered, let's start the show. Welcome to MMA on the Rocks. My name is Bill Welker. You are listening to Picks and Pours 60. If you can believe we've done 60 of these already. The sub-segment that became pretty much the entire show. Since I stopped doing episodes on Sundays, I'll bring them back at some point when, I don't know, sometime soon, probably not. Today is Thursday, May 1st, for anybody keeping track. And we're coming up on UFC in Des Moines, as well as BKFC in Clearwater, Florida. We're going to get to all of that. But first, let me introduce, after a 1-week hiatus, Matt the Mechanic. What's going on, Matt?
What's up, Bill? Sorry I missed it last week, but I had some in-laws in town. We had some fun. We went to Fort DeSoto Beach. Have you ever been there?
It sounds familiar. Did we do a jiu-jitsu picnic there?
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah.
Okay. I thought I remember that. Yeah, that was a good time.
Big beach area that I learned some history. I learned some history over the last year there. You know ever heard of the Tocobagan Indians?
Yes, I have. And
I think that's where they were at.
The reason I know of the Tocobaga Indians is that Cigar City Brewery has a beer called Tocobaga Red. And I think there's a little blurb about those Native Americans on the beer can. So that's as far as my education goes on the Tocobaga. But please feel free to educate me.
Well, they were giants, apparently. I was reading about it. There was an expedition that went down there, and we don't have time for this story, but apparently that's where the original Pocahontas story started, was in that area. But it had nothing to do with an Indian loving the man. It had to do with them not. She saved him from being cannibalized.
Oh.
And then, whoever the guy that wrote Pocahontas took the story from the logs of this Spanish gentleman, and turned it into the nice Disney story we have today.
Yeah, but in the Disney movies, there's like beautiful mountains and waterfalls. That can't be Florida.
Bill, come on.
Look, I believe the Disney version. They had a talking raccoon, I think.
It's some sort of rule where they were cannibals, but they wouldn't cannibalize a whole bloodline out. So the guy that was originally saved by Pocahontas, which the actual name is Eulalie, you can see that name around Tampa Bay in some places.
Yeah, there's Eulalie Brewery in Tampa. See, everything relates to beer.
Eulalie is a restaurant,
but they're also a brewery.
Oh, okay. And the last fact but contention point I have is that in the same log that this gentleman kept, he recorded them to be above 8 feet tall.
I'm assuming that's inaccurate. Have they found like skeletons that verify this?
Well, Florida State Anthropology does have some extremely large femurs from this area, and if you go through their archives online, you can see pictures of them. And the femur is much longer than normal femurs. It's not going to be something you can find quick. You have to like search through the log. But anyway, there was a historian there, some older gentleman, and he was talking about all the crap he knew about Fort DeSoto, and he brought up that he was going to debunk the giants, that they were giants, because the average Spaniard at that time was 5'2", and these Indians, he said, were 5'8", and that's why they're viewed as giants. Well, that makes sense, other than the fact that they weren't stupid and they could measure, and he does mention that they were 8 feet tall. Not feet, meters.
So, right. So, is he saying they were that tall or not?
He's saying that they weren't. They were just taller than the Spaniards, which that makes some sense other than the fact that they put the measurement in his log. So who knows?
I mean, yeah, I've said that before too. I'm not the tallest guy. I train with some guys that are, 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", and I would call them giants.
Yeah, but you wouldn't write down about in your diary that they were 8.5 feet tall either.
Pretty sure I have it in my diary. Some, after some rough nights of sparring, I'm like, yeah, I took some licks tonight, but those guys were 8 feet tall.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, could you imagine coming across over to Florida and finding an 8-foot tall cannibal? That would suck.
I mean, maybe that's the secret to growing tall: is human meat consumption.
There's also some contention that they might be the original tobacco growers too, which would make sense with their name.
Does Tocobaga mean tobacco? Let's get a quick Google on that. That would make sense. I don't know. Is tobacco still a big crop here in Florida?
I don't think so, but it's the same conditions as in Cuba where it is a big crop.
I guess yeah.
I think the sugar industry kind of took care of that.
I'm not a big fan of Cuban cigars. Never have been. I prefer Nicaraguan tobacco personally. But that's all interesting. So the Disney movie is not accurate. Who would have thought?
It's a stolen story.
Well, I was just my daughter was actually watching Tangled the other day, which is
I love that movie.
Their rendition of Rapunzel. So at the end of the movie, the love interest, Flynn Rider, gets stabbed and then cuts Rapunzel's hair off so that she can't heal him, but also so that the evil stepmother can't use the powers anymore. And my daughter's like, "That's so sad." And I said, "Well, if you think that's sad, in the actual story, the witch cuts his eyes out and he spends the rest of his life wandering around the woods blind trying to find Rapunzel and never finds her again." So,
there's no direct translation anyway.
Anyway.
And they're not very tall in any pictures. I don't know. I'll have to look into it some more.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of enjoy the idea of like there was once 8.5 foot tall men wandering around harvesting tobacco and eating people. That's kind of a fun.
It's way cooler than the Disney movie.
Yeah. In the Disney movie, they had like a fat pilgrim with a little pug dog, and he was like the bad guy. They made that guy seem like he was 8 feet tall. But yeah, it kind of makes for a cooler movie.
Unless you're trying to watch a movie with your kid.
Yeah, well, maybe in a few years. She is into pretty dark stuff.
Wow, actually, they say Pocahontas is a real Indian. It's really interesting. I will do some research and get back to you. I'm looking for another intern. We do need another intern.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because I need an intern for the podcast in general, including social media. So if anyone out there is interested, the job pays in whiskey samples and and some mild roasting from me. But yeah, could use a hand with some social media and other things. So if anyone's interested in putting podcast intern on their resume, send me a message at MMA on the Rocks anywhere on social media.
And get a little news out of the way off the bat. Speaking of Disney characters, did you see that Serhiy Dumas has been arrested, the UFC fighter?
I did. What I saw the headlines. I did not dive into it. What was that all about?
He's arrested on multiple charges, including robbery and battery, held on $500K bond.
My goodness.
But interesting.
That was in Florida, wasn't it?
Escambia County, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the shocking thing to me was how many times he's been arrested before. It was like 15 times.
High-level competitor.
You didn't get my Disney joke either. That's the guy that I always say looks like the meerkat off of that one movie.
Lion King?
Yeah. No, not that. Maybe not a meerkat, but he looks like a certain Disney character.
I was going to say, isn't that the only Disney movie with a meerkat?
You know better than me.
I think so. That was Nathan Lane played that meerkat in The Lion King. Did a great job. That was when voice actors started to lose their jobs to like real actors who decided to do voice acting. I think the nail in the coffin was Toy Story when they got Tom Hanks and Tim Allen. And then all of a sudden there's no more voice actors. It's just real actors voicing everything.
Okay, according to Where News, this is he was arrested for home invasion with a firearm, battery, possession of a weapon by a convicted felon, drug possession equipment. This is the 5th arrest since he's been signed by the UFC, and the 14th total. He's a wild boy.
Yeah, apparently. It used to be like 3 losses in a row and you get cut from the UFC. Apparently there's no limit on arrests. I guess it depends. It depends on the person and it depends on the charges, right? Because they cut Luis Pena when he got arrested once. But there was a lot of bad press surrounding it, and it was like a
domestic.
It was, yeah. But
okay, I'm thinking
John Jones does it, and it's fine.
I'm thinking of the squirrel from Ice Age.
Okay, not Disney.
Aren't all cartoons Disney?
No.
Oh.
No, they're not. Ice Age, I believe.
DreamWorks.
Yeah. Beat me to it. Look at you. You're like young Jamie over there. All right. So, Serhiy Dumas probably should get cut. I don't think really needs to be representing the sport of MMA anymore after all those charges. If it was like one time, like, all right, he went on a bad bender, like 5 times, like, come on, bro.
He's breaking into someone's house with a gun and drugs.
Yeah, it's
and the tools to smoke the drugs.
Yeah,
just send USADA or whatever it is now down to the where was I say Escambia County Jail, and I say you can probably get a.
I gotta say, it takes some balls to break into a house in Florida.
Where is that at?
Everybody
brought a gun.
But you break into most houses in Florida, you have 5 guns pointed back at you. Anyway, let's get into the fights because I'm excited to talk about this card actually. So, UFC making their way to the Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, Iowa. Headliner Cory, Sandhagen, Deiveson, Figueiredo. But let's start as always from the bottom of the main card, which I believe is Mason Jones, Jeremy Stevens.
Yep.
Okay. This is interesting to me because you and I are both mildly follow BKFC, right? They're going to be in
Yep.
Clearwater tomorrow night. I'm going to be there. Um, we'll talk about that a little later. I believe, and you can verify this for me if you're able to, I believe Jeremy Stephens is the only fighter to go from the UFC to bare-knuckle and then return back to the UFC.
I think you're correct, other than there's a different stopping point in between there. He went to PFL.
Right. But I don't believe there's even been a one-way transition of anyone who was in BKFC and then went to the UFC. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it seems to have been a one-way street so far where people leave the UFC and go to BKFC. Nobody has ever transitioned from BKFC to the UFC.
Correct.
Okay.
But there have been guys that have been re-signed.
To the UFC?
Yeah, just cut and then re-signed.
But not
That's
after doing bare-knuckle.
No.
So Jeremy Stephens, the first one to pull this off. And I'm excited to see Jeremy Stephens back in the UFC. He's an exciting fighter. Like, when have you ever tuned into a Jeremy Stephens fight and thought, like, oh man, this one's going to be a boring decision?
Can't think of many, but I mean, I wasn't around for many of his UFC fights.
And he's coming off of a loss in his last MMA fight. He did have one win, a split decision win in PFL. Then he had 4 straight losses. Actually, he really had 6 straight losses with a no contest to Yair Rodriguez mixed in there. He has not won a mixed martial arts contest in the UFC since 2018.
Some of those losses were some pretty big names.
Yeah, Yair Rodriguez got knocked out by Calvin Kattar, submitted by Mateusz Gamrot, but then that's when he got cut from the UFC, and then he lost his PFL debut to Clay Collard. Then he won a split decision over Miles Price, and then submitted by Natan Schultz. He also lost to Jose Aldo when Aldo was still kind of a beast, and a loss to Zabit Magomed Sharapov, who was, everybody thought was going to be like the next Messiah at 145 pounds. But I'm kind of interested to see him come back. Like, can he be the first and possibly only person to go from BKFC and win a fight in the UFC?
Well, that's who I'm picking.
What are the odds? Because I would assume Mason Jones is a slight favorite here.
Mason Jones is the minus 575 favorite.
Okay, so he's a huge favorite. Coming off of 4 straight wins, never been finished. And he does have a couple of UFC fights, but he's recently only been fighting in Cage Warriors.
Yeah, he's another white guy that's got his contract back. He got cut and then went back to Cage Warriors. And I think they're both on 1 fight contracts right now for this event. Jeremy Stephens in his hometown.
Oh, man. So they're both fighting for their jobs here. But Mason Jones is only 30 years old. Jeremy Stephens, 38.
Yeah, I'm taking Jeremy Stephens at plus 425. I mean, come on.
What's Jeremy Stephens by knockout? Because it's a guy that's never been finished.
Give me a second. Plus 800. So not a whole lot bigger.
Yeah, that's strange. I guess maybe a lot of people would put money on that. because they know the knockout power Jeremy Stevens has.
Remember what he did to Josh Emmett? I remember seeing that one.
I mean, Jeremy Stevens has crazy knockout power. Well, didn't he have? He had a few knockouts in bare knuckle, didn't he?
I'm not sure.
Didn't he just knock out Eddie Alvarez?
Yes.
And Eddie Alvarez is a big dude. And this is at lightweight. So Jeremy Stevens coming back to the UFC at 155 now.
Yeah, he's got 3 wins, 2 knockouts in BKFC.
Yeah, so that's cool. I like that. I like that storyline as being the only guy to go over to bare knuckle and come back to the UFC. He may be the only guy to ever do that.
Maybe.
So,
I mean, I don't know what the one fight contract deal is. I don't know if they need to sell some tickets at home or I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like if he comes back and wins a fight after coming from bare knuckle, that's a great underdog story. And I don't think enough people are talking about that storyline. To me, it's interesting. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone on that. Let me know what you guys think. All right. On the flip side, Cameron Smotherman and Serhiy Sidey. I have no idea who these guys are. So what are the odds, and are you betting on this one?
It's Cameron is plus 110 versus like Serhiy CD minus 130. I'm going to take Smotherman just because I do know who this kid is, and he got rocked a couple times in his debut, but I think he's pretty good. So what's the foul?
So he has one UFC fight, unanimous decision win over Jake Hadley.
I know Jake Hadley's not in the UFC anymore, but I can't remember why. I just know this kid had some potential, and he came up against some adversity in this first. Like if we might look, he might have like been undefeated into that point. No, he's 12-4.
All right. I already think we spent too much time talking about this fight. Taking Smotherman.
Smotherman.
What are the odds?
Basically pick him plus 110, minus 130.
Okay. And then we got Montel Jackson against the undefeated 17-0 Daniel Marcos. So I imagine Marcos is the favorite in this one.
I need to recheck because what I put says no. Marcos is plus 164.
Really?
Now, what you did to me last fight, was planning on doing to this fight because I don't know who these guys are.
Okay, but Marcos 4-0 in the UFC, 5-0 if you count the Contender Series fight. He's got a win over Davey Grant. He's got a win over Adrian Yanez. He's got a win over John Castaneda. I would have assumed that he'd be the favorite here. But let me take a quick peek at Montel Jackson because I know he's done some stuff too. But 17-0 with the names that he's competed against. All right, Montel Jackson coming off of back-to-back knockout wins over Damon Blackshear and Ronnie Yaya. 5-fight win streak. His only losses are to Brett Johns and Ricky Simone. So both guys who can smother you. So I guess that's his weakness. Man, so I just can't see I can't see a guy who's 17-0 being an underdog. That doesn't make sense to me. So Marcos, his nickname's Sankora, which I believe means stone in Spanish. My Spanish is a little rusty. Man, so all right. So who are you picking?
I guess I'll pick Marcos.
All right. Glad I could talk you into it. And also he's from Peru, which is where my wife's family's from. So I'll be rooting for rooting for Sankora on Saturday.
Apparently nobody knows what the hell his fight name means. I'll say it represents, well, I guess it kind of resilience, strength, and unyielding will to preserve.
Yeah, let's call it stone.
All right. And now we're going to move on to the dumbest fight name in business. Mr.
Santiago Ponzinibbio.
Yeah.
Why? What's his nickname?
The Argentine Dagger.
I'm sure it's probably like something in Spanish that sounds really cool.
Lame.
Like he had a name and no, dagger in Spanish is just daga. So fuck, there goes that theory. Ponzinibbio, this is a guy who, I thought had title contention written all over him back in like 2017, maybe 2016. Had a rough go of it lately, but coming off a TKO win against Carlston Harris, this is a good fight for him because Daniel Rodriguez will stand and bang with him. Daniel Rodriguez also coming off of a win, but then a 3-fight losing streak before that. So these guys kind of in the same boat in that regard. Neither one of these guys are spring chickens, both 38 years old. So getting near the end of the line for both of these guys. Daniel Rodriguez, I thought, had been excused from the UFC for a little while.
I think he was and just kind of filled in for some fight in the Midwest or something and got brought back. Or did he get brought back to get laid on top of by fat ass Gaston?
Remember he got
Remember he missed weight and then just laid on top of Rodriguez the whole time? Bastard.
Before that, he got head kicked by Ian Gary. All right, so I would think this fight's like pretty close to even money. If anything, Ponzinibbio might be a slight favorite.
So at lunch, when I started doing this, it was even at -110. But as right now, Ponzinibbio, mix both name words together. He's a -122. So he is now the slight favorite. I'm going to call him that. Ponzinibbio.
What would his last name be? Ponzinibbio Ponzinibbio.
Pontiago.
Ponzinibbio
Pontiago.
Santiago Pontiago. I can hear Bruce Buffer saying it now.
It works. Bruce,
if you're listening,
better than Argentine Hammer.
Announce him as Santiago Ponziago. That's a pretty fucking cool name. Santiago Ponziago. I mean, it's a pretty cool name already. Santiago Ponzinibbio. That sounds like royalty. The third. It should be the third. Santiago Ponzinibbio.
I'm going to go with Rodriguez this fight. I don't know why. I have this next pick, both of these next two fights, I have some weird feelings. It's just a gut feeling I have. So let's take D-Rod here.
All right. Well, let's get into this co-main event here. Reinier de Ridder against the undefeated Bo Nickal. De Ridder with about 3 times the experience of Bo Nickal in MMA. Only lost 2 fights. Bo Nickal coming off of an underwhelming performance against Paul Craig, where, he did what he had to do to win the fight, and it was not a crowd pleaser. De Ridder, another submission fighter known for his submissions. So are we going to see a similar kind of game plan from Bo Nickal, or are we going to see him really push the pace here? By the way, De Ridder has submitted Kevin Holland in his last fight and also submitted Gerald Mearshart, who's one of, I believe, the leader in submission wins in the middleweight division. So he's got really good skills, but he's also been knocked out before over in one championship where he was a 2-division champion, I believe. 3-division champion. I stand corrected. Interesting. What's interesting is that he's from the Netherlands and he's a submission dude. Usually, the Dutch are known for their striking.
He's a rebel.
Yeah, apparently. Bo Nickal is just such a force of a hype train, though. I imagine he's got to be a big favorite. Not as big as he was. All right, hold on. Let me guess.
No, not huge. I might have misled you there.
Damn. Okay.
I couldn't do that to you, but take a guess.
I'm going to say minus 400.
Close, minus 345. Opposite, plus 275.
I was gonna say 350, and I decided to go a little higher because that huge was still lingering in my head.
I apologize.
That's all right. It's not like.
So yeah, does Bo just like continuous fight camp, and he's just fighting like the next level up in submission artists? What we want to see is him just go out there and wrestle his ass off and ground and pound the shit out of him. But is he going to keep trying this striking stuff?
Yeah, I imagine he's going to strike. I don't think he wants to take Reinier to the ground. Reinier might be even more of a submission threat than Paul Craig. So,
I think he definitely is. But I mean, but it shouldn't matter to Bo Nickal, right? I mean,
yeah, he grappled with Gordon Ryan, whatever that guy's name is.
Yeah, I think he might be. He hasn't done a whole lot of grappling, but Gordon submitted him, but apparently,
I think after this, we're going to start to see a lot of opponents that he can wrestle against. Ranked above Reinier is Paulo Costa. Bo would definitely wrestle him. Marvin Vettori, Anthony Hernandez, Roman Dolidze, Jared Cannonier, Kyle Bahalio, Robert Whitaker, Israel Adesanya, Khamzat Chimaev, Sean Strickland, Nasruddin Imavov, all people he would probably wrestle against if he fought them. The only one I didn't mention, who's ranked number 11, is Brendan Allen. He may not want to wrestle with Brendan Allen, but he might, because maybe he doesn't think Brendan Allen's a threat off of his back.
Man.
So, first ranked opponent for Bo Nickal here.
If he comes off with like a knockout win here, he could be fighting like a top 5 guy next.
Oh, for sure. He wants the Chimaev fight. That's the one he's been asking for, since he got in the UFC.
He's gonna wrestle him? That doesn't seem like a very good idea.
Why?
Khamzat's got good submissions too.
But do you think he's good off his back? We've never seen him off his back, really, except in the Usman fight when he was tired.
I don't know.
But
I'm gonna take De Ridder here.
Okay. Just the underdog money, just the gut feeling. Why?
Underdog gut feeling, and it's like it's kind of like with Prates last week. Like sometimes these guys need a loss, and like I just see if Bo Nickal was going to lose, this is the fight I would like. If I was writing the story, this is the fight he loses.
All right. Interesting take. So how do you see it happening, though? Does he get finished? Does he get submitted? What are the odds on De Ridder by submission? Let's start with that.
De Ridder by submissions plus 750. Which that might be a good way to switch it to that. Bo Nickal to win by knockout is plus 140.
Oh, that's kind of weak. If it was like plus 500, I'd throw a couple of shillings on that.
Let's switch it to De Ridder by submission. Plus 750. It's only $1.
I don't think it's likely, but
no. But what's likely is Bo winning by winning, and I make 12 cents. So
yeah,
we're gambling here.
That's fair. Yeah, that's the name of the game, right?
Yeah.
All right. Cory Sandhagen and Deiveson Figueiredo. Figueiredo has been on a tear since moving up to 135. And Sandhagen coming off of the loss to Nurmagomedov. Oh, Figueiredo is coming off of the loss to Peter Yan also. But before that, won 3 in a row when he moved up to 135, including submitting Cody Garbrandt and dominating Chito Vera. I don't remember the Peter Yan fight at all, but I tend to not remember any Peter Yan fights. So I don't know.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, well, I mean, he fought Figueiredo in November. He's just a guy that, like, I don't know. I could just never be in support of him because didn't he get his title shot after beating a 40-year-old Uriah Faber?
Yeah, that was before my time, Bill.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
No, it was not. I'm all right. I'm pulling this up right now.
I just sent you a link in the chat of some pictures of.
That was in 2019.
Okay, so it wasn't before my time.
What is this link for?
Check it out.
Deiveson Figueiredo addresses weight concerns ahead of UFC Des Moines.
Just scroll down.
Post a series of photos on his Instagram account, which has now been deleted, showing behind the scenes filming done by the UFC. He looked noticeably bigger than usual.
Just scroll down. Look at the pictures.
That's not real.
No, he says it's real. He says it was just from a couple months ago when he was taking some cortisone or some crap.
Oh, man, he's looking puffy as hell there. That's fluffy. I'm going to see if I can. I'm still trying to get used to this new. Let's see if I can share this. Here we go. All right. So, yeah. That looks like. God damn, he looks like a lightweight here. So he said he was taking cortisone.
I know, some bullshit to heal an injury, and he was retaining water.
I don't know how to put this back now.
Yeah, we'll just finish the show with Chunky Figueiredo.
Just make it a 3-way call.
Yeah.
Man. I hate that I started doing a Joe Rogan and started skim reading the article.
Yeah, it's Jamie. Just look at the fucking picture, man.
Yeah. Well, you said scroll down, so I scrolled down and started reading it. All right. So I would imagine with that information out there, and they're both coming off of losses, that means that Sandhagen is the favorite.
Yep.
And he's probably a minus 225.
Minus 500.
God damn. That much? You think because of the article?
No, I don't think so. I mean, before I even saw that picture, in my mind, I was just thinking, I don't even see how Figgy can get his wrestling going with the way Sandhagen moves. I mean, the kid just moves. He's fast and got great footwork.
But Nurmagomedov was taking him down.
Yeah, but isn't he much younger?
True.
Much less miles.
Well, maybe that's why Figueiredo is coming in heavy, because he's planning to grapple. He wants to put that
the
weight
same
on
picture I did. It's not the type of heavy to do that. That's like I ate a bunch of boiled peanuts heavy.
It looks like Cormier. Cormier used to body people in the grappling.
That's true. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna take what I think his nickname should be, the Sandman, but what do I know? It's just the odds are unfortunate.
His nickname is Sandman.
Oh, is it? No, it didn't used to be.
Well, that's what Sherdog says, unless they just like instantly heard you say that and changed it.
I mean, it used to be something that's lame. He must have heard me at some point.
Yeah, it was like the fucking war mage.
It was something dumb.
Yeah, it was something nerdy, right?
Yeah.
Fucking the war weasel.
I think I can't take credit for that. I think that Brendan Schaub might have gave him that name, Sandman.
It makes sense. I mean, I think
they trained together.
Well, yeah, because Sandhagen's a Colorado guy. So that would make sense. All right. So you're taking Sandhagen.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And then how close do you think Sandhagen is to a title shot? I know he's just coming off a loss, but he's still ranked number 4. I mean, we haven't seen Sandhagen and O'Malley yet, right?
No, I mean that I personally thought that was the fight to make before we made this title fight.
Yeah, but there's nobody else to put in there for the title right now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Jan is number 2. He would get absolutely demolished by Merab. I don't think it would even be close.
I mean, if Sandhagen wins this and O'Malley wins his next fight, then it's time for a title shot.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't argue that. Which brings me to my hot take, Matt. Do we have a theme song for the hot take? Is that still?
We sure do.
We haven't done one in a while.
It's been a while.
It's not that.
No, we don't have it. We'll just give it with one of your favorites.
Henry, you know who I'm talking about? Henry Cejudo. Henry.
Henry Cejudo. I love the, you know who I'm talking about?
Hey, speaking of him, did you see he had that kind of funny, a legit funny moment with Usman and Izzy on the podcast? So Izzy's was on their podcast, him and Usman's podcast, and they're
you're talking about
forth.
Henry Cejudo, not Donald Trump.
Yeah, Henry Cejudo. And he goes, and Izzy says something along the lines like, yeah, we're a bunch of warriors. We all have the same thing, one thing, or a lot of things in common. He's like, Henry's like, yeah, we're all 0-3. I thought it was pretty funny to.
Wow. Saduho getting some wit.
He's 3-1 though, because he beat the shit out of that guy at his house.
Oh, that's true. And the guy from Cage Side Press was living with him, Dylan Rush, and he got all his shit stolen, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Well, his championship belts and everything.
Man, that sucks. Well, I mean, for Henry, the championship belts, like the UFC will replace that shit, I bet.
I mean, can they? Because it's like his belts aren't the new belt. They're the old belt. They probably don't make anymore.
They'll fucking make it for him. Come on. For Triple C. I kind of feel more bad for the journalist kid that was living with him because he got all his laptop stolen and all his material was on there, all his interviews and everything like that.
I didn't know all that, but
yeah,
hopefully Henry takes care of him.
Yeah, I think he has been. He's been taking him under his wing, bringing him around. What are you sipping on over there?
Buffalo Trace.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it before the flood prices kick in.
Like they're loaded down at the store. They got all of it.
Where, at Lucan's?
Yeah. They got some really good sales. I need you to go meander around, and they got some big some bottles on some serious discounts, like 75%.
Why?
I don't know. It's like, man.
Next time you see this stuff, take a picture and send it to me.
I was going to today, but I left my phone at home. I thought of it. I'll probably Saturday. I'll take a look. A bunch of ryes are like on sale for like $49.99, on sale for $12.25.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe because rye season's over, but I would go pick up some ryes.
I mean, I don't know what these are.
75%.
One of them was like 120 proof, and I'm usually out at that.
Ooh, that's right up my alley. You don't remember what it was?
No.
All right. I'm going to have to go check that out tomorrow, I think. All right. You ready for my hot take?
Yep.
So we haven't done this in quite a while. This is hot take or take a shot. So one of us is going to present a hot take about MMA. And if the other can't argue against it effectively, they have to take a shot. I think you're going to be taking a shot here, Matt.
I knew I had it.
Day late and $1 short. At least you had it. All right, here's my hot take. Miesha Tate is one of the only marketable female fighters left on the roster, and she should not be fighting on the prelims. She should be on the main card. So it's kind of a double hot take. Miesha Tate should be on the main card because she's one of like 3, maybe 4 marketable female fighters the UFC has right now.
How old is Miesha Tate? 38.
Yeah.
Great year. Born in 1986, the best year to be born. I think we're discovering a little crush that Mr. Wilker has on Miesha Tate.
I mean, I won't be shy about that. I think Miesha Tate is easily in my top 5.
I think
as far as attractiveness goes.
I think Macy Barber is much more marketable.
Macy Barber is not more marketable. Miesha Tate's former champion.
Then the casuals, they don't care about that. I don't know. Tracy Cortez.
No.
Okay, let's see.
The only ones in contention, I think, in the same league as Miesha Tate are Kayla Harrison. I wouldn't even say the reigning champion, Juliana Pena. Valentina Shevchenko. There's really fucking nobody. If you think about it.
I will take this shot.
Dern.
Okay, that's the last one. I want to check. Okay, you got me.
That's it, man. Maybe Rose Namajunas.
Because I'm checking out Instagram following, and Miesha Tate is at the top of that list. 2 million, which is shocking to me. Who do you think's set number 2?
For current fighters?
Yeah.
Rose Namajunas?
I didn't check her. But right now it's Mackenzie Dern at 1.6.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. But most people following Mackenzie Dern don't even know what MMA is.
Oh, Rose has more than Miesha at 2.2, which is a fuckload.
That is a lot.
That's more than some of the men.
Yeah. Well, Rose is a star.
Yeah, it's my favorite fighter, female fighter of all time. I haven't liked what I saw the last couple of years, but
other than that, so I told you she's in the top 3.
Yeah, she definitely is, which is not good because she doesn't have many fights left.
Right. So why is she fighting on the prelims? This makes no sense.
I mean, well, it's because we have a new president, Bill. And he signed an executive order.
What that
DEI is.
Yeah, but we've seen so many shitty female fights on the main card in the last few weeks.
Yeah. I do agree that this should be on the main card, just out of respect.
Come on.
Yeah. Especially because there was 2 fights on this card, main card, that we're like, hey, we don't know who the hell these people are.
Yeah. Yeah. Bump Miesha Tate up.
But she is the main event of the prelim card, which I tend to put above the first 2 or 3 fights on the main card. But I guess that argument only works on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, because you're trying to sell the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But you're not selling anything here. The card just kind of continues. You just stay on ESPN.
Anyway, so today I have some Old Smoky Moonshine.
Oh,
Blackberry. God. It's been sitting a while, and I think
that's more than a shot too.
No, I was just making sure it's 50 milliliters. Just got a nice little jar. Maybe your wife would want a little mason jar when I'm done. She can grow something out of it.
Yeah, she probably would. She's been keeping every container we have, like strawberry containers and everything.
Oh, it tastes like if you wake up still drunk and have a piece of toast with raspberry jam on it.
Not even blackberry jam.
Yeah. I don't know how now I'm getting some blackberry. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's hot take or take a shot, not take a sip.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go down the hatch.
Ugh.
Was it syrupy?
No, it's just not very good.
Oh, okay. Would you rather it taste good and be syrupy or taste bad and be more like a whiskey?
I don't know. I'm just not going to drink that again. Old Smoky, I've tried a couple of them. The only one that was good is the milk one, the one that had milk in it.
Oh, fuck that.
I mean, I don't know if it was milk, cream, some sort of cream. It was like a bourbon cream or something. That was the best one I've had of those. This is bad. No. And people are billionaires off of this company.
And it tastes like hangover toast.
Tastes like hangover toast. No, if that's what they were going for, they nailed it. So what the hell do I know?
Yeah. Old Smoky hangover toast whiskey.
I mean, and that's what it tastes like, because how can I just pull that out of my ass? That was a very distinct what it tasted like. Ugh, God damn. Maybe it's because it's been sitting up there for a while.
You want a little hair of the dog toast?
Ugh.
in a mason jar.
I bet you if you put some whipped cream and some other
Oh.
bullshit they do with those weird drinks, it might taste all right.
Old Smoky Blackberry. Hangover toast whiskey. You're welcome, Old Smoky. You can use that audio royalty free. No, I'm lying. Pay me. Interestingly enough, we have a ton of mason jars here now, and we also have a blackberry bush. So, all right. We're creeping up on an hour here, Matt, but I want to touch on BKFC because they're coming to your town, even though you're not planning to be there. I will be there. They did grant my media credentials this Tuesday, so I'll be over there trying to grab some interviews and some content and things like that. I know I've been slacking with the social media content lately, so got to get some of that filmed. The OCC Roadhouse, which is a really fun venue. I got the opportunity to do commentary there a couple of weeks ago for Vigilant MMA. It's a really cool venue. Have you been there?
Well, I've been to the restaurant, but not to an event.
Okay, so have you been out on the back patio?
Yeah. Like, so they have the fights where like the bikes are parked, or I mean, I guess you've probably never been there when it's a biker bar, not.
No. So there's like the outside area that's covered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess they clear it all out. I don't know if they have motorcycles parked there usually.
Well, usually it's like the part that's covered, half of it is where like there's bar seating, and then half of it is where you park your motorcycle.
Oh yeah, so I guess they clear all that out to put the ring or the cage or whatever they're doing. But it's a really cool venue because it's like a Harley Davidson museum. There's a Harley Davidson dealership on the other side of the parking lot. There's a bar restaurant. So
It's not a Harley Davidson museum, Bill. It's a OCC museum.
Oh, I thought it was a Harley Davidson museum.
No, have you never saw the show Orange County Choppers when we were kids?
Oh, right. Okay.
Those bikes are from that show. They're not Harleys.
So, but the Harley Davidson dealership is also there.
Yes.
Okay, so they have Harley Davidson stuff also.
Across the way.
Ah, okay.
Orange County Choppers is an actual motorcycle company. They make their own motorcycles.
All right. I realized realizing I made a few mistakes during my commentary gig then.
Yeah, oh yeah, you did. I don't know, I didn't listen, but if you were calling them Harleys in the restaurant.
Well, because there's Harley Davidson right there.
You never saw Orange County Choppers?
Yeah, I did. I saw the show. I mean, I wasn't like an avid fan, but I've seen it.
I used to love watching the domestic battery. Father and son would just scream at each other.
Oh, I used to love the memes of him like throwing the chair at him.
Yeah, man, they got heated. So yeah, I wish I was going, but it's $60 for the shitty seat.
Yeah, I hate to break this to you, but that's a good price for a live combat sports event these days. I just went to, I forgot to mention this. My teammate Jack Birds just won the Dynasty Fights 170-pound amateur Muay Thai title last weekend in Daytona. I went out there to corner him, only to be told that he was only allowed 2 cornermen instead of 3. I was the third one. I stepped down because the other 2 coaches spent more time training him than I did. And then his opponent got 3 cornermen, which was fucked up. But beside the point I was trying to make was that amateur Muay Thai event was $50 for a ticket. So $60 for a professional BKFC event, in comparison, seems like a pretty good deal. Although it's crazy how high the prices for everything have gotten.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not. I mean, $60 is not worth it. I mean, I remember we went for $20. That was, you hit me for 20 for the ticket. You can hit me again for 20 for the parking, but $120 to walk in there to watch. I mean, I know you have we have some friends like on this card, but
Yeah. So, I mean, I can't complain because I'm not paying for a ticket. Would I go if it was $60? I probably would have still like bought a ticket from Ryan Reber to support him because he's in the co-main event. And we also have another local guy that we're familiar with. I interviewed him briefly at another BKFC event. Jared Warren's in the main event fighting Joseph Creer. So Jared Warren just lost the 185-pound title fight in his last matchup, but he is a favorite against Joseph Creer, who's 3-2 in BKFC. Jared Warren 7-3. Jared Warren has been, one of the faces of the organization for quite a while now.
yeah, started from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's what I guess you could call a veteran of bare-knuckle fighting championship for sure.
Mr. Reber is a huge favorite.
Yeah, I was just looking at that, and I know I've known Ryan a long time now. I've trained with him for many years. I've trained with him for this camp. I've sparred with him for this camp. I can tell you he's looking sharp. I know how skilled he is, but I have to say I'm surprised what a huge margin in the betting line this is. Minus 680 favorite. Now, it doesn't surprise me because I know how skilled Ryan is. It surprises me because, he's coming off of a pretty brutal TKO loss to Alberto Blas.
Well, maybe I think this might be the BKFC just giving him, give him a little favor after that last, because they sent him to the slaughter last time. That dude was mean, a scary guy.
Yeah, I mean, do you know the story that he tried to kill Yoel Romero? Basically attacked him in a street fight with a samurai sword.
No, but I like that story. Continue.
I mean, that's the story.
Like after the Ryan Reber fight, or
no, this was maybe a year ago. They're both from Cuba, and they were both wrestlers. They had some kind of beef that needed to be settled with a samurai sword. Apparently.
Yeah, he takes a beef to bring out the samurai.
Yeah, and especially a guy who fights at 135, but Alberto Blas is a big dude. I think he was like 159 when he got in there with Ryan Reber.
Yeah, and samurai swords are expensive and they dull easy. So you have to be really pissed to want to use your samurai sword, because it's gonna.
I need to look up this story and bring you all the details next week. But Ryan is like a true 135er. He's not cutting a whole ton of weight. And Blas was in there, as a bloated lightweight. In any case, the odds surprise me because he's coming off of that loss and because Matt Gaiman, his opponent, is 1-0 in BKFC. So going up against a guy who's undefeated coming off a loss, I thought the line would have been a little closer. I thought Ryan would have been a favorite, but maybe like a minus 200. I never would have thought a minus 680. Which makes
I know why. The guy has a Monster Energy logo tattoo on his side.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fair. I mean, obviously, I'm riding with my guy, Ryan Reber, but I'm not putting any money on him at minus 680. So,
yeah, I don't know. I'd imagine he had some soul searching to do after that last loss. So hopefully he's got a quick night in the office, have some fun, get his confidence back.
Yeah, for sure.
Went in front of a hometown crowd.
Mm-hmm. And, I see Ryan regularly. He comes into our gym. He's been coming in every Wednesday night for sparring, so I get to talk to him. I get to, exchange punches with him and all that fun stuff. I'll definitely be rooting for him, even though I should be non-biased media, but that's not me.
That's tomorrow or Saturday?
That is tomorrow at the OCC Roadhouse and Museum. The OCC Museum, not the Harley Davidson Museum.
Yeah.
Another local guy and another 135er, Michael Larimore, is on the main card. He's going to be fighting Samuel. I believe it's Samples, but it could be Samples or something exotic sounding.
Does not look good. He looks scary.
He does look like a scary dude. My wife actually ran into him at the airport yesterday. She was picking up her parents who were coming back from a trip, and she saw this guy, and he was all decked out in BKFC gear. So she went up to him and said hello, because that's what my wife does. And and
do you want to see a picture of my chickens?
Yeah. You want to know their names? This is Tootsie. This is Butter.
When's the barbecue?
Probably in a couple of years. We got to get some eggs out of them first. Another fight I'm interested in, Crystal Pittman, who is, I believe, the girlfriend or fiance or wife of Jared Warren, who's in the main event. She came out on the scale holding 3 very exotic looking snakes and weighed in with them. Did you see this?
No, but I like that. I like snakes.
She had one around her neck and then like one on each arm, and weighed in on the scale with them, and then did the face off with these snakes. You're looking it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to me that a couple is fighting on the same card, right? Because
Florida as it gets, huh?
Like,
some snakes.
Yeah, it is pretty Florida. Like, if you were gonna fight in a main event, right, and your wife was also on the same card, like, let's say, obviously you wouldn't hope for this to happen, but let's say your wife takes a beating in her fight. Like, you really gonna be able to go out there an hour later and compete?
Yeah, as long as she doesn't get hurt. I mean, knocked out, maybe. Yeah, those are some ball pythons. So
pretty tame.
Yeah.
They're not gonna hurt anybody.
She wasn't going out on a limb anywhere.
That white one was a ball python too?
Yeah. I think it's called a het. It's a genetic thing.
Okay.
Still cool. Well, I like exotic animals, and I don't know if I would do that. Not just a lot to pay attention to, but she has an OnlyFans page also, guys.
Yeah, I believe they have one together. I've never looked at it, but from what I understand, it's a or maybe it's a solo one. Maybe they're not even a couple now. Maybe I'm talking out of school here.
Maybe she's got a OnlyFans on how to take care of the snakes, and she's advertising it.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be any kind of adult content. Yeah, it could just be like, this is what I feed my snakes.
This is how I clean them. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, most OnlyFans are how to tame trouser snakes, but maybe hers is just about reptiles. I don't know.
So the only other thing I got is there is some boxing this weekend.
Oh yeah, De La Hoya's promotion.
Yeah, but Ryan Garcia is fighting again, and I enjoy me a Ryan Garcia fight week.
Was this the one where they had the face off and one guy was wearing a cowboy hat or something?
I think so. But also Canelo is also fighting this weekend. Well, it's not for you, Bill, but I'm just putting it out there for anybody that
I
likes
know.
Canelo. I mean,
It's just,
well,
I don't know. Boxing has just been disappointing the past few years. But, you know,
I mean, the guy
maybe
he's
it'll
fighting
turn
is
out.
unbeaten.
That means nothing in boxing. He could have beaten up, 20 guys that they brought in from behind a Circle K that never boxed before.
It is interesting how Ryan Garcia is fighting this weekend, and I see nothing online about it.
He's like blacklisted.
Yeah, he's getting wested. Kanye wested.
Hmm.
But that's all I got. There's not much news. I mean, there's not much going on.
Yeah, it has been pretty quiet, huh?
I mean, there's some news, but it's just not like the top news story right now is this coach is accusing Keanu Reeves of stealing his technique in John Wick.
Okay. What kind of technique?
Beating ass, I guess. I don't know. Faraz Sahabi. He's using my technique. It's just bullshit.
Faraz Sahabi is complaining about John Wick stealing his technique?
It's bjpen.com. I mean,
Yeah, this sounds like clickbait bullshit. I mean, there's nothing that Faraz Sahabi has invented that hasn't been widely available for 100 years.
And then, okay, so the other big headlines is Jeremy Stevens on his return said that Dumas getting arrested and Bilal Muhammad's going to get a walkout with the Palestinian flag. Whoop-dee. That's where he's from. I mean, that's where his family's from. So, of course, he gets to walk out with it.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
Oh, this is just like a seltzer. It's just,
Busted.
I mean, it's just plain seltzer just because I was thirsty. It's watermelon. I was thirsty. I got whiskey too. I'm also drinking Old Tub 100 proof whiskey. This is made by Jim Beam now, but it's like an old bourbon recipe. I got this at your liquor store for like $10. It was on sale. I think it was like half
No,
price.
I think that's one that's on sale.
This?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, definitely grab one then. Yeah, I got this a while ago, but I bought like 3 or 4 of them because it's really good.
Old Tub.
Yeah,
You
and
seem
this
to drink that often.
This is right up your alley too. I mean, it's good straight. It's good as a mixer. It's good all around. Highly recommend Old Tub. One of my go-tos for a long time. All right, so that's all we got.
That's all I got.
All right, that's all I got too. There's links in the show notes if you guys want some merch or anything like that. I don't know. I haven't really been pushing that.
Oh yeah, wait, we got some comments. Yes, Francis Ngannou, he has some more tragic news. The comments.
Wait, how are you seeing the comments and I can't?
I don't know. Mark Fellows. I don't know. He clicked there's like I have 3 things. I can see like the little people symbol.
Oh, okay. Oh my God. He was in a motorcycle accident in Cameroon and killed a 17-year-old girl?
Yeah.
Is this true? Can we verify this?
It's true.
Wow. Usually, if you're in a motorcycle accident, the person on the motorcycle.
No, she was a pedestrian.
Oh, man. So what's going to happen? Is he going to get like an involuntary manslaughter charge?
It was in Cameroon.
So nothing.
I don't know. Maybe a little this, a little.
Grease the wheels?
Yeah.
Ah, fuck. That's horrible.
Now, same theme. I saw John Elway was playing golf and kind of crashed his golf cart, and his agent fell out of the golf cart and died. That was today.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
He died falling out of a golf cart?
Let me search. I heard this.
How is that possible?
Yeah.
How fast can a golf cart go? 20 miles an
Jeff
hour?
Spurbeck, John Elway's agent, dies at 62 after golf cart.
What the fuck were they doing in that golf cart?
He says he fell off a golf cart being driven by Elway and suffered a traumatic brain injury and was placed on life support and declared dead.
Oh my God. He must have hit his head on a rock or something.
No. Sorry.
You're laughing at this man's death.
No, I'm laughing. I didn't expect this big a reaction out of John Elway's agent dying from it.
I mean, it's just all right. So, a little background: I have fallen out of a golf cart before. So, when I grew up, my parents had a property out in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania, in this like little trailer community where you could ride golf carts around. So when we were kids, I think you only had to be like 13 or 14 to be able to drive them. So we would be driving them all around as teenagers. And we figured out how to take the governors off of them. The governors control the speed. Most of them were set for 15 miles an hour. We could get them up to like 30. So, we'd be doing dumb shit because we were kids. So my buddy went down like a cul-de-sac and made a sharp turn. I went flying out of this golf cart that was going 30 miles an hour. And it knocked the wind out of me. Like I can remember pretty vividly. I was probably like 13 or 14 years old. I couldn't breathe for like a good minute. It felt like anyway. But that was, kids being stupid and reckless.
Okay, so imagine what that same impact would do to you now.
Yeah. I mean, it would suck. But like I'd have to hit my head on something to get a brain injury to kill me. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a golf course, man. There's boulders, there's trees, all kinds of shit you can hit.
I guess so. But he would have to have been flying in that thing.
Not really. I mean, you don't know. This guy could have been fucked up, pardon me, before. I mean,
yeah. But I would imagine, like, I mean, maybe John Elway has like his own golf cart or something, but I imagine golf carts on a golf course all have speed restriction governors on them.
I don't
know.
Probably on the golf courses we play, but I think these people are on different golf courses.
Not anymore. There's going to be some restrictions on that shit now.
You can still ski, and Sonny Bono died. I mean, what the hell?
That's true. But that was before the internet.
No, that internet's been around since the 80s. Remember, Al Gore invented it.
Yeah, but it wasn't in everyone's homes.
Yeah. All right, we're approaching a record length here.
Yeah, right. We haven't gone pretty long. Fuck it. Let's go for 3 hours. Let's go for a Joe Rogan episode here. Let's start talking about aliens. No, fuck it. We're called here. All right. Make sure I'm going to be posting a lot of my stories tomorrow night from the OCC Roadhouse and Museum, BKFC Clearwater, Jared Warren versus Joseph Creer, and of course my buddy Royal Ryan Reber in the co-main event against Matt Gaiman. I still can't believe it was minus 680 favorite. That's crazy. Sorry, Ryan. I'm not betting on you. I'll be rooting for you, but I'm not putting any money on you. I'm not going to bet $680 to win $100. And Crystal Pittman will be there with her snakes and her OnlyFans.
Hey,
Um,
Crystal, if you need somebody to watch your snakes during your fight, I got you. Just give me a ticket. I'll head in.
that's fair. That sounds fair. Get this man a ticket. He'll watch your snakes. Imagine it's like her husband's trying to warm up for his fight. Like, here, can you just watch the snakes so I can go do this?
I got him. I got to take care of all 3 of them.
I believe it. All right. And Mark, to answer your question about the snakes, it was the ceremonial weigh-in. So Mark earlier asked, was it the ceremonial weigh-in or did she make weight wearing the snakes? And it was the ceremonial. So now I know how to check the comments on this thing. So we're using Restream for the time being. I'm still exploring some other options. Matt doesn't like it. What don't you like about it?
I don't know. Actually, I have to admit, I don't mind it now.
The platform's nice, and I think if I use the paid version, we'll have better video quality too.
Yeah, I think it's worth. Can you like buy 1 month? I think it's worth buying 1 month.
I think I can cancel anytime. So maybe I'll subscribe for a month and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll do that. You're going to have to look at us while I play the outro song. But until next time, cheers, everybody. Goodbye.